right now. Welcome back to the Strategic Targeting Podcast. Now, this is the show where we take a step back away from the tactical, day-to-day, transactional nature of many of the businesses that we run and take a look at it from a strategic perspective. Like for lenders, for instance, they've been originating loans for years. They've been doing great that way, but now there's reasons why they may want to look at the other side of the business. To talk more about that, I'm going to visit with John McCrea. He's the Senior Vice President at MortgageFlex, and he'll join us right after this. John, thanks for being with me today.
Thanks, Rick. Happy to be here.
All right, so we're going to talk now about what you think is a strategic imperative for mortgage lenders to consider now. What are we talking about?
Well, at the IMB conference in January this year, the MBA came out with some statistics that stated that approximately 1 in 3 IMBs last year were not profitable if they didn't service. And I think that's really a testimony to why IMBs should consider to bring it in-house, because frankly, they're losing money. And the reliance upon that revenue when you're in lean times, I think can make a big difference in your bottom line and in your survival. So, we're trying to assist IMBs of any size to consider bringing that in-house.
Now, normally my second question goes right into why it's important, but I think I need to ask a follow-up question here, John, because a lot of people think, especially originators who've been in the business for a long time, that servicing is just way beyond their capabilities. Why is that no longer true?
I believe it's no longer true because the technology's gotten much better, especially with our solution and offering something that's really user-friendly. It's easy to train. It's easy to attract younger talent because you're not showing them 60-year-old green screens, et cetera. And we provide a program that helps guide the lenders through the GSE certification. We also have partners that do that program as well. So it really is a program that can help them start from scratch if they so choose, or bring in an existing portfolio that they may have at a subservicer. And it is something that we feel is not as difficult as it was previously. Previously, it was bringing in older mainframe technology. You had to also find those skill sets that understood that technology. And it was very, very expensive. 6 figures at the very least, any size portfolio to bring that in-house. We can do it up for a fraction of that. We've had a number of startup IMBs that have come on board, and they don't have any loans that they're currently servicing, but they start running them through our system, even on a short-term basis. And then once they get their GSE approvals, that they're moving into long-term.
Fantastic. All right, so now, why, and you told me you just came back from MBA servicing, you had a ton of conversations back there. Why are more lenders looking at this possibility now than in the past?
Well, we believe, obviously the downturn has caused a lot of folks to look at how they're going to survive, the next one. And having that additional revenue really gives them something to fall back on. I have a number of customers that, when things were really tough last year, they sold off some MSRs, and it really helped their bottom line, help them keep themselves in business until the volume started picking up again early this year. So we think it's certainly something that a lot are looking at. There's also a lot of systems that servicers are using out there today that are getting really long in the tooth, and they're looking for more modern options.
Absolutely. Now, talk to us about the risk of ignoring this, because in our industry, we've seen this many times. There's kind of an inertia. They don't want to change, but we're seeing more lenders changing now in this area. Why is it important now?
Well, I think it's important. I think the realization that those customers, if they're not treated properly, are less likely to come back to you for a refinance or a referral based on how they potentially are treated at a subservicer, even though you have no direct effect upon that relationship any longer. It doesn't matter. So by keeping those customers closer and treating them nicely during the 30-year process potentially of that loan servicing experience, you're going to get a more likelihood for that client to return. You're going to get a higher likelihood of that customer also providing referrals for you, because they're going to be pleased with the service. They're going to be pleased that their originator held on to that loan and didn't sell it, either released or outsourced to a subservicer.
Wow. So that could finally unlock loyalty in the mortgage industry, something we've never seen before. Very good. What other opportunities can lenders look forward to if they get into this side of the business?
Well, I believe it's the it's the ability to have that reoccurring revenue, approximately $100 per month per loan, and have that as an additional revenue stream. The way that we have modeled our system, you can service approximately 1,200 to 1,500 loans per FTE, which is very high compared to the norm in this space, which is about 800. And the reason why those numbers are so high with our application is because of the automation that's in the system. So a lot of the things that are mundane and manual in a lot of applications, such as your escrows and automated delivery of your statements to our portal, imaging in our portal, homeowners assistance application capability fully built in online. So a lot of those things really drive up costs. They drive up the number of people that you need to support it. And we look at it from the standpoint of about 80 to 85% of all customer needs should be done online, where they're never having to make a phone call. And that really is changing the metrics of servicing, because you can do more with less.
Fantastic. All of our listeners, I think, on the origination side are going to want to find out more. John McCrea, Senior Vice President at MortgageFlex. John, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Rick.
And thanks to all of you for listening in as well.